Yasodanandana Vijanaranjana Yasodanandana Vijanaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Vijanaranjana Yasodanandana Vijanaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hari Hari Ramu Hari Ramu 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 Hari Hari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hari Hari Ram Hari Hari Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajakacharya Astatara Satasri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinde Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. And all glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Before I begin, I just want to thank everyone here for attending, and those of you on the internet for attending there. It's my pleasure and privilege to share with you these glorious teachings that Srila Prabhupada has so mercifully brought to us for the benefit of not only us, but of the entire world. And I pray for your prayers, blessings, in the hope that I may say something beneficial and useful for us all, including myself. So thank you very much in advance for any help that you can give me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam today. The first verse will be from the first canto, 7th chapter, and the 50th verse. Since there's no purports, I think, in the first two verses, I'll just do the translations on them. And on the third verse, I think it's 52, 53, we can do those together the way we normally do. So, translation. Now Kula and Sahadev, the younger brothers of the king, and also Satyaki, Arjuna, the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, son of Devaki, and the ladies, and others all unanimously agreed with the king. So, before I go any further, I don't want to keep anybody in the dark. What are they unanimously agreeing with it? They are unanimously agreeing that it would be a good idea to not kill Ashvatthama. Okay? That's the agreement there. And that it would be better to try to figure out some better way rather than to kill him physically. Maybe there's another way that he can be killed without killing him physically. And that was the result of Draupadi. She was asked by Arjuna what does she think, and she gave a number of reasons, Vedic reasons as well as sentimental reasons, as to why she feels that Ashvatthama should not be killed. I won't rerun those. We've heard them over and over again every day. And basically she gives some Vedic reasons as to not killing a Brahmin, not killing the teacher, Brahmin teacher, and also not killing a Ashvatthama because his mother would suffer, and so forth. So she's given some reasons, and so they're all agreeing to the fact that it would be a good idea. Don't kill him. So, translation. Next one, 1751. Okay. Bhima, however, angrily disagreed with them and recommended killing this culprit. Why are we calling him a culprit? Because he killed a lot of people unjustly, improperly, criminally. He had no right to kill them. He killed 5 sons of Draupadi and the Pandavas. He killed Drishtadyumna, who was the general of the Pandava army, and he killed about 100 soldiers who were lying asleep in the barracks. He killed the 5 sons of Draupadi while they were asleep, which is illegal. He killed Drishtadyumna while he was asleep, illegal, and he killed all the other ones. How did he kill them? Chopped their heads off. Okay? So Bhima is calling him a culprit. That's a very tame word to use. So he had murdered sleeping children for no purpose for no purpose and for neither his nor his master's interest. When Duryodhana was apprised of the fact that he had killed these 5, they're not actually children, but compared to the Pandavas, they are children. The Pandavas, for those of you who may not know this, Yudhishthira is 91 years old at this time. Okay? Bhima is 90 years old. Arjuna is 89. And the 2 twins are 88. You can figure that out simply by the curse that Gandhari gives 36 years in the future, and when Krishna leaves, and just go back a number of years. So anyway, that's very interesting. Although they're very elderly, you'd never know it. Because they get out onto the battlefield and they fight like 25-year-olders. They're full of energy, full of zest, full of vitality, full of vigor. They're never tired. So this is very interesting because today we brag about how we're raising the lifespan of people. It's called the Band-Aid lifespan. You patch everybody up, you you patch in a liver, you patch in a gallbladder, you patch in another part, and you hope that if you run a little bit, you have to run for a bus or you have to run for something, that the part doesn't fall out. And you hope that it just stays in there. Because after all, they give you injections and pills so that those parts will not be rejected by the body. We know that. However, sometimes the body doesn't respond the way it's supposed to, and they do fall out. So it's a very iffy, precarious type of longevity. Not the kind of longevity which we call true longevity, which the Pandavas showed. And 90 years old and running around the battlefield as if they were just teenagers. Amazing. So we'll go to the verse now, 1752. I hope it's on. Nishamya bhima gaditam Draupadyascha chaturbhuja Alokya vadanam sakyur Idam iha hasan ivam Nishamya bhima gaditam Draupadyascha chaturbhuja Alokya vadanam sakyur Idam aha hasandiva Nishamya bhima gaditam Draupadyascha chaturbhuja Alokya vadanam sakyur Idam aha hasandiva Ladies, please. Watch this here. Nishamya, just after hearing. Bhima, Bhima, that's the name of one of the Pandavas, the second. Gaditam, spoken. Spoken by. Draupadya, of Draupadi. Cha, and. Chatubhuja, the four-handed personality of Godhead. Alokya, having, seen. Vadanam, the face. Sakyuhu, of his friend. Idam, this. Aha, said. Hasan, smiling. Eva, as if. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation: Chatubhuja, the four-armed one, or the personality of Godhead, that's one of his forms, four-armed form. After hearing the words of Bhima, Draupadi, and others, saw the face of his dear friend Arjuna, and he began to speak as if smiling. Purport: Lord Sri Krishna had two arms, and why he is designated as four-armed is explained by Sridhar Swami. Both Bhima and Draupadi held opposite views about killing Ashvatthama. Bhima wanted him to be immediately killed, whereas Draupadi wanted to save him. We can imagine Bhima ready to kill while Draupadi is obstructing him. And in order to prevent both of them, the Lord discovered another two arms. Originally, the primeval Lord Sri Krishna displays only two arms, but in his Narayan feature, he exhibits four. In his Narayan feature, he resides with his devotees in the Vaikuntha planets, while in his original Sri Krishna feature, he resides in the Krishna Loka planet, far, far above the Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky. Therefore, if Sri Krishna is called Chatubhuja, there is no contradiction. If need be, he can display hundreds of arms, as he exhibited in his Vishvarupa, or universal form, shown to Arjuna. Therefore, one who can display hundreds and thousands of arms can also manifest four whenever needed. When Arjuna was perplexed about what to do with Ashvatthama, Lord Sri Krishna, as the very dear friend of Arjuna, voluntarily took up the matter just to make a solution. He didn't have to, but he wanted to get this matter finished. And he was smiling also. Now, I want to also just read the translation of the next verse because it's very closely connected with the verse I just read. Just the translation. Tomorrow someone will read the translation and the purport. The personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna said, "A friend of a Brahmin is not to be killed, but if he is an aggressor, he must be killed. All these rulings are in the scriptures, and you should act accordingly." He's talking to Arjuna now. "You have to fulfill your promise to your wife, Draupadi, and you must also act to the satisfaction of Bhimasena and me." Om Ajnana Timrandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmaditam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto his lotus feet. So we have a thorny situation here. Arjuna has to figure out a way to kill Ashvatthama and simultaneously not kill him. Well, how can you kill someone and not kill him? It's a contradiction in terms. But he does figure out a way to do this symbolically. Yes. So the way that he decides to do that, well, before I get into this, let me first start out that in the Bhagavad Gita, in the early part, second chapter, I believe, 7th verse, Arjuna says, now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure due to miserly weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So that's at the beginning, second chapter. And in the 18th chapter, near the very end, Krishna says to Arjuna, have you heard this with an attentive mind? Are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? And Arjuna answers, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my understanding by your mercy. I am firm and free from doubt, and am prepared to act according to your instructions. Okay. So at the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is confused. And at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna has become unconfused and he's ready to act as a disciple. As he says in the early part, now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So now we go back a few verses. And we need to consider those. In the verses in the past, just a few pages back, Arjuna, after Ashvatthama has released the Brahmastra, and he can't withdraw it, and it's going to destroy, it's a big blazing fire in the sky, so to speak, and he does not know how to withdraw it, and it's going to devastate the world. And so Krishna says, Arjuna, you know how to withdraw a Brahmastra, so you send your Brahmastra up and let it merge with Ashvatthama's Brahmastra, and then you withdraw it and neutralize it. So he does just that. After he does, the next thing he wants to do is capture Ashvatthama, who was a truly terrible, horrible criminal, as mentioned already. He's killed the 6 sons of Draupadi and the Pandavas. He's killed Drishtadyumna, who was the general of the Pandava army, and he has killed about 100 warriors who are lying, all asleep. It is illegal to kill a warrior when he is sleeping, or kill anyone when he is sleeping, but he did it anyway. Why? Because he was as full of vengeance due to the fact that his father had been killed in a somewhat illegal way. So this was his way of getting back, and his desire to want to stop the lineage or stop the perpetuation of the Pandava line or lineage. So he killed all the sons. So this was his way. He thought, he was being smart by doing this kind of a thing. So Krishna thought it was quite savage and quite barbaric and completely unseemly for a warrior of the caliber of Ashvatthama, who was trained under Dronacharya, who was a Brahmin. Ashvatthama was raised as a Brahmin, but as a result of associating with Duryodhana again and again and again, he became very much demoniac and very much unlike his father, and would do things that his father would never do. And in effect, although he was born as a Brahmin, he gradually descended in consciousness to lower than a Brahmin, to a savage, basically, or what they call a Dvija Bandhu. 'Dvija' 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 Bandhu. 'Dvija all these murders that he did, and they were mass murders, put him into a very low category. So, Krishna says to Arjuna, now I've told you everything about this Ashvatam. You should be thoroughly disgusted with him. You should be filled with anger, and he was with him, and you should now do the needful. Kill him immediately. Those are his exact words. Now, I mentioned at the very beginning that Arjuna claimed to be a disciple of Krishna. Now I am your disciple, and the soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. And so Krishna is now instructing. He's giving an order. He's not making a request. He's saying, kill him. He doesn't deserve to live. He's a threat, a menace to society. He's got this Brahmastra, and he could use it at any time, and he could destroy the whole world. Kill him now so that we don't have to worry about him. So what did Arjuna, what was his response? His response was, I don't like the idea of killing Ashvatthama. He had some sentiment there. Well, you know, Ashvatthama is the son of my warrior teacher, my weapons teacher, and I feel I have an obligation. He started putting all these impediments in front of himself. Now, if you're a disciple and your guru happens to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can do no wrong, and your guru gives you an order to kill this culprit, you don't start hemming and hawing and evaluating your guru's order. What do? You do it. For example, if Svabhas were to tell me, you know, please keep your lecture today, don't let it go. By the way, my watch is wrong, so could somebody tell me the right time? No, right time, please? 16 + 8. Huh? 15 + 8? 6 + 8. Okay, thank you. So if Svabhas says, please make sure that you finish up by at least 20-25 after, then that's his order. And I'm expected to finish up. No matter what. Even if you beg me to go on, you have to check with him. And if he says, oh, he did on Sunday, he said, okay, go for another 5 minutes. So the important point is that authority is the main principle here. So Arjuna is given an order. And he says, I don't like the order. And what does he do? He takes, Ashvatthama is bound up in ropes, by the way. He's been captured. And he brings him to his wife, Draupadi, to get her opinion, her evaluation, what she thinks he should do. And when I read this, I begin to wonder, is Arjuna really a disciple of Krishna? If Krishna has given him an order, why is he going to his wife for an opinion? Why is he going to his wife to find out what he should do when Krishna is omniscient, all-knowing, all-powerful, present everywhere, creator of the world, maintainer of the world, destructor of the world, has all opulences, but his wife doesn't have any of that, and yet he's going to her for guidance. Does that make sense? Well, where is the understanding? He just said before, at the beginning of the Gita and at the end of the Gita, I am your surrendered servant. What has happened to the principle of surrender? Surrender means you don't think, you do it, especially when the Supreme Lord is giving you the order. It's not like, you know, some maybe guru who is not so knowledgeable, is not fully realized, and he can make a mistake. And sometimes you don't have to obey if he's not following the Shastras. He's asking you to do something which is not in accordance with the Shastras. We had that problem with Bali Maharaj and Shukracharya. We have those things in the Shastra. So here Arjuna brings Ashvatthama, and Draupadi sees him, and her sentiment, her heart is touched and moved to see him all bound up. And the first thing she says, unbind him. Get those ropes off him. Free him. So, of course, Arjuna does that. And then she gives her reasons. We've already heard them several times. Why he should not kill Ashvatthama. I'm not going to repeat them. They're in the book. And then Yudhishthira hears and he sanctions what she says. He says, of course, he should not be killed. And then the twins, who are also the brothers of the Pandavas, they sanction it. And so several people who are sitting there have agreed that he should not be killed. Even though he's a barbarian, he's a savage, but for sentimental reasons, he should not be killed. Even though he is a smoking gun. Smoking gun means he's got the Brahmastra. He could fling it at any given moment. And we're going to see, as a result of this disobedience that Arjuna has shown, how it will result in a terrible, miserable, tragic situation. How there's a ramification. There's a cause, effect, and we're going to see it play out right now. So anyway, what happens is that Arjuna, as Krishna has mentioned, that he has to figure out some solution in order for Ashvatthama, in order for Bhima and Krishna to be satisfied, kill him, and in order for Draupadi and Yudhishthira to be satisfied, don't kill him. You got two camps. There never should have been two camps. If Arjuna obeyed his guru, there would have been just one thing to do. What does Krishna say? Kill him immediately. That's it. No ifs, no buts, no cogitations, no evaluations, no doubts, no thoughts. You just do what the guru says. And he is the Supreme Lord. That's what disciple means. Follow the leader. So he didn't follow the leader, and that's why we have these two camps now. So Arjuna has to come up with a solution, and he does come up with a solution, sort of. What he does is that he has to kill him and not kill him. Well, how can you kill him and not kill him? Well, first of all, Ashvatthama has a jewel right on the forehead, right here. Okay? It's not an ordinary jewel. It's not like something you can buy in the Kmart or in one of the stores. He was born with it. It's born right on his skin. Not put on, but as a part of his birth. Just as Karna, he had Karna had a breastplate and he had earrings born on them. So he had this jewel. Now, what did the jewel do? It was his wealth. It prevented him from getting diseases. It prevented him from any kind of hunger. Whenever he needed food, he could get food. And it's another thing that it did is that no weapon could harm him or hurt him. Okay, those are three things the jewel did. So by taking the jewel off, he stripped him of his wealth. And for a Kshatriya to have no wealth is virtually to be partially dead. And the next thing is that, as we know, Kshatriyas take pride in their hair. Remember the story with Rukmi? When Rukmi tried to kill Krishna, and Krishna was about to kill him, and then Rukmini Devi said, please don't kill my brother, please. He says, all right, I'll virtually kill him. So he goes down and he snips off his hair in all different places, and he looks at like a sight for sore eyes. And any Kshatriya who would see him would start laughing in a ridiculing fashion. And that's the worst thing that a Kshatriya likes to have. And that is somebody laughing in a ridiculing, ha ha ha, look at that fool. You know, that kind of a mentality. So therefore, that's like killing him. But is it really killing him? Maybe for 2 months when he's got no locks on his hair. But in 2 months later, he's got a full head of hair again. So how does that really solve the problem? It really doesn't. So, but in any event, he at least virtually kills him that way. And on the other hand, he doesn't kill him because he's still alive. So, this is the situation. So after that happens, Ashvatthama is free. He's free to go where he wants to go now. As I said, a smoking gun. And not long after that, what does he do? He doesn't want the Pandavas to perpetuate their line, their lineage. And there's one more Pandava who's an embryo in the womb of Uttara, who was the wife of, what was her husband's name? Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu was killed in the war. So what does he do? He flings another Brahmastra toward her womb. And it's coming towards her womb, and she can feel it, she can sense it coming. She prays to Krishna, please protect me. Otherwise the Pandava line will be dead. So what does he do? He goes inside her womb. And when the Brahmastra comes, he shields the person who would later become known as Parikshit. He shields Parikshit, the embryo. And then what happens is it fizzles out, and that's the end of it. By the way, there are two versions in the Bhagavatam. The first one is the one I just mentioned. He shields him from the heat rays so he doesn't get burned. The other one in the Bhagavatam is that the Brahmastra, and it's also in Mahabharata, which I will read in a few moments, it actually goes into the womb and burns Parikshit to death, and Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, brings him back to life. In any event, Parikshit has his life. You can take it this or that way, but both are in the Bhagavatam. So here you see, allow him to go free with the mentality that he has, full of hatred and vengeance and antagonism, eagerness to destroy the Pandava line. You let him go free, and that's what he does. He's a menace to society. He's a menace to the world. And that's why Krishna said, kill him immediately. He knew it was best. He knew what should be done. But Arjuna, not acting like a disciple as a disciple should just follow the order. But he had a sentimental attachment or feeling for Ashvatthama due to his connection and attachment to Dronacharya. So we have to be very careful in our relationships with our gurus. If a guru orders us to do something which is sanctioned by the scripture, and it's proper, and it's good, and it's useful not only for the individual, but for everyone, then it should be followed. No questions. This is what discipleship means. It means you give up your independence, which Arjuna took back. And so did Yudhishthira, took his independence back. And so did Draupadi, took her independence back. They were all devotees of Krishna. And here they were evaluating what would be best for Ashvatthama when Krishna had already given his decision. How can you do that and call yourself disciple? How can you call that and call yourself devotee? So this problem would never have occurred, this throwing of the Brahmastra, a second one, had Arjuna followed the instruction of Krishna, kill him immediately. He's omniscient. He knows everything. He's all-powerful. He's the creator. Why do you question? Why do you doubt? This is our problem. We should not doubt the Supreme Lord. These words in the Bhagavatam are not to be doubted. These words in the Bhagavad Gita are not to be doubted. They are to be believed implicitly as being, as we say, gospel. Consequently, we have this situation. So this is a problem, and it has to do with the same old story, the same old problem. I am the Lord of all I survey. I decide what is best for me. This is what Arjuna, this is his mentality here. This is not the usual mentality that he had. Now I am confused about my duty, and I've lost all confusion, due to miserly weakness. Now I'm your disciple and a soul surrendered, and you please instruct me. That's not the mentality he's showing here. So this is a very, very important thing that we all have to learn, and following the instructions which are in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's very, very important to do this. If we don't, then we go against the will of Krishna. When we go against the will of Krishna, what we do is we commit what is known as aparad. When we commit aparad, it means our virtues meaning compassion, kindness, sweetness, love, goodness, generosity, mercy, all those good qualities become diminished. And all the bad qualities, lust and anger and greed and envy and illusion, become increased. That's what happens when we commit guru aparad. So our business, not only that, but our business as devotees of Krishna is to develop more and more intense love for Krishna, so that we can't even think for a moment without lovable thoughts for Krishna. This is what Prabhupada keeps saying. 24 hours, go to sleep dreaming of Krishna, wake up thinking of Krishna. So if we want to achieve this wonderful position of pure love of Krishna, then we have to follow the instructions faithfully, implicitly, without hesitation. If we have a doubt, then we can bring the doubt to the authority. Excuse me, but I have a doubt, and here is my doubt. Could you please dispel it for me? Okay, that's okay. That's authorized. In fact, that should be done. But to simply take your own authority, which he did, and he just took Ashvatthama and bore him over to Draupadi. And that was it. So the result is that I have to read something. The result is that Arjuna did not do the will of Krishna. So what was the will of Krishna? This has been bandied about for the last 2 or 3 days. I know that Ramapad Maharaj, he kept posing that question. What is the will of Krishna? What does Krishna want? Well, we just learned that Krishna wants Ashvatthama dead. There's no question about it. But now that Ashvatthama has thrown another Brahmastra to kill Parikshit, who's in the womb, that has infuriated Krishna so tremendously that he doesn't want to kill Ashvatthama. He wants worse than that. He feels that punishment is nothing compared to what he truly deserves. And we have that today. The punishment should fit the crime. The crime was, hundreds killed unjustly, improperly, unconscientiously. So what does Krishna say? I'm going to read it. This is from Mahabharata, of the 12 volumes, volume number 7, for those of you who got the 12 volumes. Soptika Parva, section XV11. That's 12, in case anybody doesn't know Roman numerals. I hope. So here's what happens. It's very important to know Krishna's mood and his feeling. And Arjuna should have been able to know this because he knew him as a friend. But sometimes there's an old saying that closeness or friendliness sometimes begets indifference. You take a person for granted. So, reading now. The Holy One said, the Holy One is Krishna, the fall of this mighty weapon will not be fruitless. The fetus will die, but being dead, it will live again and have a long life. Krishna speaking. As regards yourself, all wise men know you, excuse me, not Arjuna, but Krishna is talking to Ashvatthama now. Sorry to distract. As regards yourself, Ashvatthama, all wise men know you for a coward and a sinful wretch, always engaged in sinful acts, because he hangs out with Duryodhana. Thou art the slayer of children. For this reason, you must have to bear the fruit of these thy sins. For hold your breath, fasten your seatbelts. For 3,000 years, you will wander over this earth without a companion and without being able to talk with anyone. Alone and without anybody by your side, you shall wander through diverse countries. O wretch, you shall have no place in the midst of men. The stench of pus and blood shall emanate from your body. And inaccessible forests and dreary moors shall be your abode, like the swamps. You shall wander over the earth, O thou of sinful soul, with the weight of all diseases on you. The heroic Parikshit, attaining to age when he grows up, and a knowledge of the Vedas and the practice of pious vows, shall obtain all weapons from the son of Saradwat. That's Kripacharya. He was the first weapons teacher for the Pandavas, and then Dronacharya came after that. Having obtained a knowledge of all high weapons and observant of all Kshatriya duties, that righteous-souled king, Parikshit, shall rule the earth for 60 years. More than this, that boy shall become the mighty-armed king of the Kurus, known by the name of Parikshit, before your very eyes, O thou of wicked soul. Though burnt by the energy of the weapon's fire, I shall revive him. Now you burn him, I'll revive him. So don't think you're going to kill off the Pandavas so easy. Yudhishthira will retire timely, but his replacement will be Parikshit. And you will have no say over stopping him from being the next emperor. So I shall revive him, O lowest of men. Behold the energy of my austerities and my truth. And this is the last paragraph. Vyasa said, since disregarding us, you have perpetuated this exceedingly cruel act. And since your behavior is such, although you are a good Brahmin by birth, not by behavior, therefore those excellent words that Devaki's son has said will, without doubt, be realized in your case, an adopter as thou hast been of Kshatriya usages. So, that's the story there. Did the punishment fit the crime now? Anybody got any doubts about that? No? That's Krishna's mood. That's his feeling. That's what he wanted. Any questions? Thank you very much. No questions? Okay. If you have any, you can come after class. It's getting a little late. Hare Krishna. Hare.
That wasn't our agreement last night. You weren't supposed to read my verse.
Oh, no, that was just